All right, this is my dashboard, golf cart dashboard I got from Crutchfield. I'll leave the links in the video description if you want to try this dashboard. Here it is right here, unique design. It's even got like a console door with key and latch. 3 cup holders and a couple pre-drilled holes. Of course, I'm going to put my 6-inch Marine speakers in here, and I've got a double din touchscreen stereo, so I'm going to have to cut out a little bit here and place some things here. I think I'm going to put my ignition switch here, not sure. And it doesn't come with a slot, so it comes with just a hole, so you'd have to remove your steering wheel, but I've got a turn signal switch on here and everything. Let me show you. So it's not just a basic circle tube going down anymore, because it's got an indentation sleeve on the turn signal switch to allow the wiring to go down the side and be hidden. So plus I didn't want to remove the steering wheel every time I needed to remove or lift the dashboard to get back to service wiring for the radio and speaker stuff. So I figured let's just make it slide into there. So I did cut off some pieces here. And it easily cuts with these. And here you can kind of see the notch I cut right there. And now let's go ahead and fit it on. Here's kind of a before. I kind of got the dash taken apart because I did install that new turn signal switch, which was great. Love it. It's got the headlight switch on it. I can reach it because it's at an angle now. The other one went straight out. So now it's at an angle, so I can just kind of reach behind my steering wheel to do the turn signal switch, which is very nice. I'll get you on this side, close up of that turn signal switch. I like the nice housing casing on it. You got the horn button right here. It's really nice. Turn the lights on right here. Turn signals. Very cool. So this is before, and we're going to go ahead and slide that dash on. I think this is going to be a really custom look. I'm really excited for this upgrade. All right, let me grab the dash. With the slot already cut around the steering column. Just to show you my plan, how to do it without removing the steering wheel. So here's a slot. It's just going to slide right in between there. I can kind of help it along. Oh, there we go. Slide it down the column. Nice. So this stuff is pretty flexible. So when you cut it, you do have the ability to flex it out, and then it'll snap back over your column right there. What a great idea. I love this. This is a huge upgrade. And this is like the gray wood grain finish I got on it. So it's gonna match, you know, my black and also the wood grain steering wheel and my dark leather seat covers now. And just looks so, and once I get the touchscreen radio in here, sweet. So we'll have to continue on. I got to get the speakers in and everything, and I got to get this hole for a double din touchscreen radio. I got the Ototo radio screen or radio system. I got a speedometer, digital speedometer is going to go here, and a power meter here. And then I think, like I said, the The ignition switch, I think I'll put it right here or here, because you've got a lot of, lot of mold going on here, molding, to where you don't have a lot of flat surface. So you got to kind of plan this stuff out before you start cutting everywhere to make sure you can fit all of your dashboard accessories into those little nooks and crannies. All right, I'm going to cut for the speakers, and I use the foam gasket that came with the speakers here. See that? If I had a hole that size, the speaker would fit in there just fine. So we're off by just a little bit. If I put the foam gasket on here like I did, I taped it, and then I made a mark with a red marker around there. Make sure the dashboard behind here, make sure the speaker is not going to hit anything, and it's not deep enough. This speaker anyway is not deep enough to hit anything in the original dash, so I have room here. And you'll want to make sure on that before you start cutting in all these other spots to see how deep your device is going to stick in there, and make sure it doesn't hit your original dash. But it looks like we're going to have plenty of room in all of these areas. I think they've planned that out, how they've kind of protruded this mold out to give you the room to mount all devices in this dashboard area. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the dashboard here now and take my snippers, and I want to show you something, what I'm cutting it with. Now, I had these on hand. See these snippers? They're straight, and it's hard once you get in here to keep continuing your cut. So I found these online. See how they've got an angle to them, sharp angle, so you can get back in there and still continue your cut. They've got a really sharp angle, these ones, so that's going to help us a lot. Easy to remove. I haven't attached any screw attachments yet, and it's lightweight. So make sure you get it in a nice comfortable spot for you to reach to make these skilled cuts. And I don't know if I'm going to have to use any drills or anything or saws yet, but like I said, I'm just going to enlarge these speaker holes with my snips here. I call them tin snips, but they work good on this material right here. And it seems like it's not leaving any cracking or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Now, let's see if this speaker is going to go in here. Let's give this a shot. I enlarged it just a little more, smoothed it out. Yes, sits flat. Now notice the speaker is just a little bit bigger, but I went with it to match the roundness around the top edge and not as much around the back bottom lip, sticking off there a bit. But I can deal with that because you're going to be kind of facing down this way at the dash. So the speakers, don't go with monster speakers. These are, I believe, what are they? Belva 6.5-inch speakers. So if you could get closer to 6-inch would be better. But I love the wood grain, dark wood grain on this to tie in the seats, the steering wheel, and everything else. So it's kind of got like a deep dark brown with the seats and the speaker covers, and black, so it brings the blacks and the browns together. Nice. All right, I'm going to show you what I got here. I'm going to cut out for this ignition switch, and the hole in the back is 2 inches. The front fascia plate of this is a little over 2 inches. So as long as the hole is 2 inches, this can slip through, and then it will catch on these clips. I might have to notch out some grooves for these push clips, and then the face plate will hold it in. Now here's the dash. I found a piece of cardboard box right in here. I got underneath here that I can drill through, and to keep this sturdy, I've got it clamped up here and here, both sides, just to, it's not, you know, solid, but it's sturdy enough. And I'm going to take my 2-inch hole saw that is the same as this. I've already matched it up, and I'm going to drill in here first clockwise to get the drill bit starter hole in there, and then I'm going to switch it to reverse because I want these the serrated area here to go in reverse. I don't want to gouge into it, so I'm going to try to cut the hole in reverse with the hole saw. We'll see how that goes. So I missed the drilling part, but I did it in reverse with our hole saw, and I just kind of rocked it around in reverse, not forward, so that the jagged serrated edges don't tear it up. And I got almost all the way through, and I started to lift it, and there's still a little bit inside lamination left, but that's okay. I can unclamp this and file that right off. Nicely done hole. All right, I got the hole on the back side cut and notched with my Ryobi router tool. Notched that out, so we got, you know, the clip notches and the alignment notches, top and bottom. I put it in, clips in well, seats well. And I think on the front side, I might have to seat it with some silicone because it's a little bit loose. This material is probably not as thick as the dash in the E-Z-GO factory dash was. So we got a little bit of movement in there, but it fits. Snaps in like factory. Hey guys, actually this is a few days later. I skipped ahead a bit, skipped ahead of you. So I want to keep you up to speed here. And let me go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and turn this camera around and see. I've got all my tools out. I've been hard at work here. Workbench, saw bench, and here's the dash. This is the reverse side. If I flip this over, you can see I cut out more of my holes. Of course, you ended off last seeing me cut the ignition switch hole and putting the speakers in both sides. I also put the battery gauge monitor right there, and I also got the Ototo touchscreen, 7-inch touchscreen radio system. It's going to be sweet. So if you look at the back here, I'm trying to get my wires in here. I have to splice to my speakers here, and then any wires, like I got a reverse camera, also any wires running from the dash here, I'm actually fishing those through here right now. But before I get to that, if I come around here, I redid this side box area, put a new floor pan back in here. I'll show you a picture of that before and after with the floor pan. I made it out of that same plastic ABS material sheeting. That worked really well. And now you saw we had the charger put in there from last video, and now I've got all my components in here. I upgraded the DC converter right here with an adapter plug. We got our small fuse panel here. The reason I kept that small is because we've got a main circuit breaker coming from the battery that feeds the fuse panel and this auxiliary switch. This is an auxiliary switch unit, and that auxiliary switch is going to be up on the dash here, and I believe it's got 8 buttons to control all of your accessories. Like I probably have some dash lamps and dome lamps, and I'm going to put a flasher on top, you know, a yellow amber flasher for a slow moving vehicle. I've also got a backup light I'm going to be installing, and take off that horrible buzzer that sounds when you put your golf cart into reverse. I hate that buzzer, so we're going to go ahead and remove that and run the wire to our new reverse light and buzzer. It's going to be a little bit more pleasant sounding, I hope. So this is just the cover here for the auxiliary button fuse panel, and it's getting all wrapped up here. Now I did buy some components here. If you want to do some of these same things I'm doing, I bought this nice wire connector box here. I'll leave that in the video description below. Also, what I did was I ran this wire, two wires. This wire has, I believe, 8 or 6 leads, and I got that snaked underneath the cart and going up to here behind the dash, so I can run multiple different accessories to these wires here, and they're all color coded, and then I can wire them into the aux box right here to different fuses for different accessories that I push the button for. And then I also ran another heavy duty cable that's just got a power and ground, just in case I need a power and ground exclusively for up here in the dash area. I've got that run back here with some extra cord. I may not need it, but at least it's already run back here with this other cable here. That should get you guys up to speed here where I'm at today, and then I'm going to continue on. Hopefully tomorrow I have the dash in place and everything hooked up to where maybe we can do some testing with the stereo and stuff. Maybe I'll get the backup camera in as well. That'll be pretty unique to see on the screen in your golf cart. Stay tuned. Another day. Just had that short clip yesterday. I apologize, but still been working away at this golf cart, doing all the wiring. And you know, you get into this like I am, where I'm going to be putting on the upgraded dashboard, and I'm thinking, well, the more things I can wire now, the better, so I don't have to keep removing this on and off for each accessory I want to add. So I've gone down a rabbit hole now, and of all these things that I've pre-purchased, and I want to get it back together now just to test everything that I have done works, so that I don't have a whole mess of accumulated additions and then have to track down like a needle in a haystack where's my wiring issue. So let me show you what we got here today. So I've tried to bundle up these wires in here underneath the dash, right in this area. Now the headlight switch and stuff, I just kept on there, because even with that off, right, with the new turn signal switch, it's got the headlights, and I test it when I turn this on and off, it operates the headlights. So I'm just going to leave that intact. Also, this old battery gauge I still got underneath here, I'm just going to leave that intact. So just kind of tied it up so it doesn't rattle none of these wires. I'm trying to get all the leads out that have to connect to that Toto radio, smart radio system. Also, I did go ahead, I was going to put this off, but I'm like, well, let me just do it. Like I said, while I'm down here, I put on the front DVR camera, so this will record to the radio. So anywhere you go, I thought it'd be neat to have footage of anything interesting along our trails and routes that we go on. So I have had the solar bracket mount here. I adapted for a mount for the camera and ran the wire down here. And you're probably thinking, Todd, why didn't you run the wire inside? Well, we might be getting a new type of motorhome where we can take our golf cart with us. I got that wire run all the way down there. Anyway, and the roof might be too high, so I might have to chop these roof posts off so that they're either reclinable and then they can be put back up, or just lower it like 2 or 3 inches. Haven't decided yet. So in here we still got the same situation going on. I did start labeling some stuff, so I have everything labeled. My hazards, radio, those are going to be buttons on the dash with that auxiliary button kit I got. So that will be nice. And then I got a regular fuse box as well, and a main breaker. So I think I'm going to clean up this mess here now. Get the dash on, not permanently, but get it settled in place before I bolt or rivet it in, and get everything plugged in and switch that run switch to run and see if anything blows up. All right, this DC converter here, I had it connected to the yellow is the 48 volts from the battery, but in order to switch on the 12 volts, which is I believe the red wire, you need to connect this green to some source on the ignition switch, which this is the connector for the ignition switch, and I just tested with my voltmeter there. This middle blue one, when I turn the ignition switch on, then it will send a signal. I'm going to connect the green wire, I believe it is, to this blue wire that I already have pre-run right here, and I'm going to label that. When ignition switch is on, this supplies 48 volts. So that's what I believe I have to do. I have to connect these. Let me just double check. If you look right here, you see the green wire. See the yellow I got connected from battery, but I didn't do anything with this green wire. That's the switched input from key switch. So I'm going to run that blue wire back. I already had pre-run connected to the green wire, so when I have the ignition on, it will turn on the 12 volt system. And then if I wanted to, I can use that blue wire off with a converter that will have constant power. So I could actually, without doing this, probably just connect the blue wire up to the fuse box and everything. That way it's just on. So if I have my ignition off, I could still play the radio, turn on lights and everything like that. So I don't know. First, I'm going to try this method here with the green wire. All right, I think I got everything straightened out. Key thing was making sure the DC converter was working when you turn the key ignition switch on. We got that straightened out because I didn't have that other wire connection, which was the blue or the green wire, which you saw. And testing power and all these when the ignition switch come on. And our auxiliary switch box accessory that we got seems to be turning everything on. I've got, so far, I think I got hazards, radio, and let's see, that's all I have on that for now. So we're going to go ahead, flick it to run mode. I heard it click over, and I like our new lighted battery gauge. I got to get that programmed so it shows when the battery's full. Now I'm going to go ahead and click this ignition switch to on. Now our auxiliary switch is lit up. You can press the middle button to turn all of them on. So they're all on now. And we've got power to the radio. That makes me so happy, guys. Now I'm gonna get the radio and stuff set up and the battery gauge and get all that instructions figured out, and also our auxiliary switches here. And I'm sure I'm gonna fill those auxiliary switches up because I still have some dash lights, under dash lights, and dome lights and stuff, and the yellow strobe light for when we're out. And I might put like a motor compartment light in there in case we have situations on the road at night. I can have a light in here maybe. All right, I think we're about ready to go ahead and anchor this dash in. It's looking really, really nice. Let me give you a tour of it. I got speakers installed, the battery gauge installed. I got that set last night, so it's depleted a little bit since last night. I've got the aux buttons mounted and installed there permanently, and I've drilled a hole to put the cable into behind here, which is your console compartment. Speakers, I got this is a speedometer and clock and compass right here, and then the Toto touchscreen stereo system. And then I also got the wireless remote for the volume and answer calls and everything from this. So let me turn it on for you guys. Now I got the radio button here, and this is the flasher button. You press that, you see, and it's assigned to the flashers, the hazards, which is cool. I got a lot more buttons to assign here, and our radio's coming up. Android. Our speedometer clock came up. Now I do want to mount behind here. First I'm going to mount this in place, and then I can always remove it. But I just want to get the hole started and everything screwed in and just see how it's functioning, mounted in place. And then I'll have to take it off, and I've got like a small fuse box. I want to have a constant power run up here from the DC converter, which it does have a dedicated wire for. So I got to run another wire down underneath here and behind here to a dedicated 12 volt fuse box that will be constant power even when the ignition's off. So here you go.
Be sure to enjoy
I'm controlling the volume
first 2 Kroger delivery orders with your digital coupon.
right from here. So cool. You can skip to the next song or whatever. Of course, it's on an advertisement right now. There's your home screen with all your apps. So let's get this thing, the dash, mounted, and then we'll go from there. Actually, when I get it mounted, I'll show you how I do it. I'm going to drill some holes. I already checked. Now, if you're going to mount this type of dash console in, check where your holes are going to be drilled into. I've already checked the underside and bottom side, and they're not going to drill into anything other than the floorboard. So we're safe on that. So let me get this mounted, and then we'll be able to wrap this video up. I want to make sure this thing is pretty snug, and especially the console here, because it's got like a curve down here around the bottom of the floor. And I want to try to make it without any gaps or minimal gappage. So I think that's going to be my first hole here. Double check. Ooh, this is nerve-wracking. Okay, one hole through, and you know what? Floorboard is very, very thin. There wasn't much to it. Let's round that out a bit, and I want to get one of my, comes with 4 bolts and nylon lock nuts. And I'm throwing in some washers for good measure. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. Going in right here. First bolt into our first drilled hole. Nice and firm. Now remember, this is lightweight material, kind of like a plasticky type. Don't over crank it. You don't want to crack it. Okay. So I'm going to get the one on the other side next, and then there's also one inside this console at the very bottom here. But I'm going to get both sides first. Who says this is a two-man job? As long as you have the reach. Console seems pretty sturdy. Up top we'll be able to screw in. So we got one right here. Last one. This this frame piece right here. So I went down a little bit lower so I can have the bolt come out lower there. All right, we got one more bolt hole to drill. Make sure my wires are out of the way. Make sure this is seated. This is like the last hole position I can get to make sure that this whole console's seated pretty well. I'll show you. See in there? Let's see. Right there, that was the first hole I drilled, but it was going right next to a frame rail, so I moved it back, which is no problem. We have a great big, like, duckbill flap here. We could go in anywhere to get this held down. Hard to see in that console. Definitely going to have to add some lighting in there. Okay. Nice. All right, nice and sturdy, solid. So that's how you create your own custom dash and dash console, adding, you know, accessories and stuff to it, cutting through it safely without damaging it. And guys, there's only one other step, but I'm going to spare you from it. I got self-tapping screws. I'm going to put in probably about 5 along the top here and 1 or 2 on the sides, on each side, and that will keep the top in place. The reason I'm not going to do that in this video, because I think I might have to wait till tomorrow, I ordered black self-tapping screws. And just so you know what I'm talking about, that is, they're going to look similar to these, but a little bit longer, with the wide flat washer top, self-tapping screws like this. It's got the nice wide like washer head and self-tapping, and I'm going to go a little bit longer for the golf cart. And they make these with the black and black, so they'll blend in with my golf cart there. So guys, that wraps it up today. Thank you for spending some time with me, and I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe picked up some tips and tricks on what to add to your golf cart in the future, like this custom dash with lower console. This, when I saw it, I had to have it, but I knew I was up for a challenge when I wanted all these other accessories as well. So I had to try to incorporate all these into this new dash mold here, and I'm happy with it. It turned out really well. And I thank you for coming and joining me on another one of my videos today, and I'll see you on the next one.